Hi everyone, welcome to Tom's Man Shed. Okay, so it's another product from Lidl's in this review. I was there yesterday, I saw this, and I'd seen it was going to be on sale, and I compared some prices on Amazon for similar things, and it seemed to be quite a good price. It's this, I'll show you in full size in a minute. It's a garden storage box. Now, I recently did a review of a Keta garden storage box, a much bigger one than this. Check out the review up here on that, and it's going to be similar to that review on this one, showing you how it screws together. That has sort of like proved a fairly popular video as far as my videos are concerned, and I've had quite a few comments saying, oh, it was useful to see how it's screwed together. Maybe you've bought a second-hand one, maybe you bought one without the instructions, because it's not always apparent how the panels go. So hopefully this will be of some use if, like I say, you've bought one of these second-hand or whatever, or if you're just interested in buying one. So like I say, it's a small garden storage box. Let's have a look on Amazon now to see some similar ones at the same size and see how much they are on there. So the nearest one I can get to this, and this is almost exactly the same size, is this Keta Marvel. As you see, it's 270 litres, which this one I'm reviewing from Lidl's is exactly the same. And if we click on it and look at the length and that, if we look here, the external dimensions are 116.7, while the Lidl one I'm reviewing is 117, so they're basically the same, 3mm different. Yeah, 0.3mm. 44.7 wide, well, the one I'm reviewing is 45, so again, identical really, and 57 high, and this one I'm reviewing is 56. So, like I say, it's the exact same dimensions as that, but as you see, that is 50 quid, almost twice as much. If we go back, this one here, outdoor garden furniture, that is 47 quid. And again, if we look at the dimensions on there, 114 long, so it's 3 centimetres less in length. It's a bit deeper, it's 52 instead of 45, and it's the same height, 56. So again, basically the same size as the one we're reviewing, but a lot dearer, 17 quid dearer. So let's have a look. Cut the straps. So I've not even cut it yet. And this is the length and the width of it, give you some idea. We've got one of those joining bits, I presume, I don't know yet. All sorts of loose bits in here. But yeah, that shows you what's in the box. And right in the very bottom is your instruction book. I don't know what that's for. It's got like a pen symbol at the top here. And it's like a piece of graph paper. Okay. I shall have a read and tell you what that is for. But I just wanted to show you the unboxing before we get it out in the yard and assemble it all. And then I'll go into great detail and tally up with the instructions what each panel does. Because like I say, on the Keta one, you join two panels together for the back, and it just didn't look right. There was like a pattern on one and a pattern on the other, and they didn't mix, they didn't match up. When you turned them the wrong way, it looked like the pattern lined up, but that wasn't the way you did it. So if you didn't have the instructions, you'd be confused trying to join it that way. This might be the same, I don't know. It's going to be easier, obviously, because it's not as big. And it's also on rollers, this. And you probably saw on the thing, I don't know whether they did, but a 3-year warranty. Don't tell you that, but I'll tell you in there. Livarno Home, that's Lidl's own make. Like Parkside is their own make of power tools and their Silvercrest and things like that. But Livarno Home, stuff like this, storage boxes. So like I say, we're going to put it together now. I'm going to film it all outside, screwing every single panel together, and at each stage I'll go through this and then we'll line it up next to my existing big Keta one, and I'll just show you what you can get in this compared to the other. Obviously nothing like as much, but some of my smaller stuff like the Henry Hoover and that may probably go in this. It probably won't. I don't think it's wide enough, but we'll see. And I've measured my pressure washer. I think it'll just go in this, but not with one of the tools in the top. That brings it up a bit high. But like I said, I don't know myself until I've assembled it all. Let's get on with that now, and we'll do it bit by bit. So I'll just squeeze this bit in. I'm going to do the assembly any second now, but what I said before, I was going to do it the same as I did the Ketter shed construction, the bigger one. Now that is much, much more complicated. It's not really, really complicated, but there's a lot more to take in. So what I did with the, when I did the video on that, was impose in the top corner the relative page from the instruction book along with the bit I was doing at the time. But I've just put it all together now, and it's an absolute doll. There's not even any need for me to do that. There's no dubious ways of doing anything. The only instructions you get are that. So like I say, it lays out all the bits. So I've started with them laid out in the yard and just like that. One of them, two of them, and so on. And then it just goes picture 1, and this is the exact order I'm doing it in. Picture 2, picture 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're putting the wheels in. More on the wheels later. Not a brilliant design, but like I say, I'll go into details on that. But that is it. That's the only instruction. So I don't need to superimpose them on the screen. You'll get the gist of it as you see me doing it. So let's start with it all laid out in them bits to show you what all the bits look like in real life. Okay, so this is it all laid out. As you can see, you've got 4 hinges there. Them 2 round things are the little wheels. You've got one of this thin panel here. You've got this one there, just one of them, that's the lid. One of them, that's the base. And them 2 there. I've got a bit of sides, I would imagine. And there's just one of them, that thin piece. And them 2, that'll be the sides. So let's start now with the number 1 in the instruction book. I'll set the camera up on a tripod and hopefully you'll see how easy it is. So that's all the bits laid out. So let's start putting it together now. Now the base, the biggest sort of chunkiest bit, is symmetrical. It doesn't matter which way around it goes. Some of the side pieces where the handle is, they are different, as you'll see here. But basically it's just put the 2 lower long pieces in, which are the same. Then the smaller, thinner ones to extend them to the right height. And then the 2 sides. So all this next section is the base, the 2 long bits, and the 2 sides. And they just click together, as you'll see now. Okay, the first thing to go on is these 2 long side panels. As you can see, there's some there, there's pegs there, and there's holes here. Obviously these holes align with these pegs, so put that on, and again obviously the grain goes to the outside. It couldn't be simpler. That just pushes down on there like that. There's a little sort of like tabs in here that go in the holes, and you can feel them spring out into the gaps. So that's the rear one done, and the front one. Again, you won't be able to see the tabs on this one, but if you just push it down hard enough to make, like I said, the little tabs inside go. So that's the 2 sides done. And then on top of this go the 2 other bits to raise it up. So that's these 2 pieces here. Now, they're both the same sort of dimensions, but as you can see on this one's got an indentation for a handle or whatever. and this one hasn't. So it's symmetrical, this bit, so it doesn't matter which one of these you put there, you just turn it round to match. So again, these just go on. Do this rear one first. So again, with that wood grain effect facing to me. Again, you may be able to see these little tabs exactly the same as the base piece. Again, make sure they've sort of pinged out into the little slots. You see, once they're engaged, they're quite solid. You can pick it up with that. And again, that goes on there. Okay, so two sides now. So as you can see, both sides are identical. And you've got the handle insert bit at the top here. So again, pegs go in the holes at the bottom, and just exactly the same as the long sides. So yeah, if you push them into the bottom first with them out at an angle like this, otherwise you won't engage them in here. And there is flex on them, so even though they're pushed fully down, you can move it out to line these other bits up. And the same with the other one. Again, push fully down these 3 pegs first into the base. These 4 pegs, sorry. And then shove it in there like that. So that's the base and all the sides on. We've now got to fit the lid. But first we fit the hinges. And there's 4 of the hinges. There they are. And there's a little... So 2 little tabs that come out just there on the hinge, and they go in them little holes on that. It was pretty impossible to film that bit. I'd have had to have the tripod inside the thing. But you get what I mean. You just push the hinge in there, and the 2 little tabs ping out into the holes, and that's it. As you'll see, I accidentally knocked one off because I hadn't got it in far enough. But it's just a matter of putting the 4 pins in. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so these are the hinges now. And obviously you fit these in this side, away from the bit with the handle bit. There's only one side they'll go because it's got these little indentations at the top ready for them. So if you see, there's a pin on these, or 2 pins there and there. These bits here, where they're joined together, it's just, you just snap them off. And there they just snap off. And they just push in like that. It's as simple as that. There's these 2 here in the middle. I've already done the one the other end. Oops. Obviously make sure they're fully in the hole. You saw then this one wasn't fully in, so
It's a bit hard to show you on camera because it's inside the thing, but you can line up the pins with the holes and make sure they're on. So that's all the hinges.
Right, so we've got the 4 hinges in. We've now just got to clip the lid into them hinges. Now, in this next bit, I also mention the wheels. It comes with 2 tiny little, in my opinion, pretty useless wheels. You'll see in a minute that you can't hardly move it across when it's horizontal. They're only of any use when it's tipped up on end. So I'll go into detail on that later. But at the end of this, you'll hear me mentioning that I'm not going to put the wheels in. Well, I did. I left the wheels in because I was thinking with the wheels in, it's going to roll around a bit more. But no, like I said, they're only of any use when you're transporting it, if you're tipping it almost vertical. But you'll see exactly what I mean, but I did actually leave the wheels in.
And then your lid, obviously, this bit lines up with that. So it's just a matter of putting these 4 in these little holes here. And again, they mount just the same. You just push the square in there. There's 2 little lugs on these, there and there. And they ping in them holes there. So you can hear them click into place. So that's the whole box, and then there's 2 little wheels to put on it if you want them on. I'm not going to put the wheels on because it's just staying put in one place, but I'll show you how they go. So yeah, there's a wheel each side. There's one here and one the other side. I'll just show you the one side so I can show it in close up. And you see there's 2 little grooves there, and you would just push the wheel in it, and then you can pick it up and roll it around. But like I say, I'm going to leave the wheels out because it's just going to stay put on the floor.
So yeah, more on the wheels in a minute, but you may have seen just then, if you're very keen-eyed, as I tipped it sort of forward, the very bottom corner, there was a crack in it. I hadn't noticed it myself during construction, so whether I cracked the plastic and a little chunk was missing, didn't notice it loose in the box or anything, and I can't find it in the yard, but you can see this crack. Froze a picture of it here. This is the one I mean. As you can see right there, it's just cracked. So I decided to glue it with a hot glue gun with an extra bit of plastic in, just scrap out the garage to reinforce it. And it's probably stronger now than it was. I wasn't going to take it back to the shop just for this little crack. It's not going to bother me. If something like that bothers you and you want it perfect, you'd have to take it back, get a refund, or get them to swap it. But it was only a bit of broken plastic, and it's not in a vital place or anything. So, like I say, it's as strong now as it was, and you'll see in a minute me touching it with some permanent marker, and you can hardly see it. But be aware of that. It is sort of quite brittle around that bottom. The bottom lip that hits your yard, hits your concrete slabs or whatever it's on. It'd be all right on grass, but it's quite sort of brittle there, and it's very thin. So let's have a look at that crack now, and you'll see what I mean when I glued it back together.
So yeah, you can see the crack there. I've glued it all and filled it with hot glue around there. And I've put a strengthening piece under there. And it's stronger than original now. All I've got to do is put some black marker on there. It should look okay. Cover that with a permanent marker. You'll hardly even know it's there. That'll do me. I'm not fussy.
So yeah, it doesn't bother me that at all. These things happen, and it's fine just like that. But be aware, like I said, be very, very careful when you assemble it on something hard. It could crack. So yeah, back to the wheels. Now, when the wheels are in place, they hardly stick out the bottom. When you think about it, if they were proud of the bottom, it'd be tilted up, wouldn't it? I was thinking you'd have to pull it up there and it'd be easy to wheel like in its horizontal position. But no, you pull it up and it's the skirt is scraping on the ground. The only time them wheels become proud of the actual box is when you get it to a sort of almost a vertical angle, and then it is easy to wheel. So I cannot really see the point in them. You wouldn't want to move the shed around with it in its vertical position because all its contents would cascade down. And when it's empty, it's light enough to lift up anyway. So like I said, I really can't see the point of the wheels. My slabs in my back garden are slightly sort of rippled. If it was glass smooth, maybe you could wheel it. I don't know, but I would take the wheels with a pinch of salt. Once it's in position, it ain't going to be moving. So I'll show you what I mean now by moving it around in a vertical position.
And yeah, if you do want to roll it, you're best sort of putting it vertical like that. In fact, one wheel's just come out now, so they're not brilliant, as you can see. Maybe on smooth ground inside or whatever, if you're storing something inside it might be okay, but so it does make it easier to roll, but only when it's vertical. Once you put it down like this, the rollers aren't really touching the ground. It's scraping on the lip around it. You've got to put it right up for it to be on the wheels. So yeah, I'll leave the rollers on because it's no different once it's down.
Okay, so it's in position now next to the Keta larger storage box. And then we're going to take some of that stuff out to put in this smaller one. So I'll just show you what you can get in it. Now, I show you in this next sequence like a pressure washer and a Henry Hoover and things. There's no way I would keep them in. It's not secure. The bigger one isn't secure. It's got a disc lock on it, but you could still get into it by chopping the plastic. The only reason for having a lock and a padlock is that if it was broken into by burglars or whatever, you would have a claim on your insurance. If you just left it open and there was no lock on it, you wouldn't. But yeah, they're not secure things. I would never leave anything of massive value in either of them, but particularly not this little tiny one. So all that's going to be kept in there is car cleaning shampoos and stuff at the end. So I'll show you now in some various sequences, transferring stuff from one to the other and what you can actually get in it.
Okay, so here's me big garden shed, if you will, the Keta one I did in the other review. And as you can see, this is well, it's much better built with a lot more money as well, and twice the size. But you can see what I've got in it. Got me power washer behind there, my workmate, and all that. So I'm going to see how much of this lot I can get in the new one there, and see what space it frees up in here. So just to give you an idea, I've got them out of the big shed now and put them in here. Of course I wouldn't be keeping them in here, being, you know, reasonably valuable. But it's just to give you an idea of what we're going. As you see, the power washer is in there. But once the tools are in the normal place, it makes it too high. So you'd have to take them out. But I've got some Patio Magic stuff there, the pressurised sprayer, a small pressurised sprayer, watering can, big 5 litres of weed killer, got the Henry in there again, wouldn't normally keep that in there. The Henry and the power washer will be going back in here, but that just leaves this free for all the gardening stuff like sprayers and chemicals and things. so I've emptied all the car cleaning stuff out of here. Now, it's freed all that top shelf up to put loads more tools. And like I said, I'll be keeping the more valuable things in there. I've just put that bit of white string through just to show you where the padlock goes. Again, they don't have to cut this bit of plastic, but at least if you did have a break-in or whatever, you'd be covered. But if they're not desperate that they just want to get a load of old shampoo and that, they're welcome. But yeah, so I've got loads of gardening stuff here, weed killer, pressure sprayer, big and small, watering can, got the washing up buckets there, and all this is the car cleaning stuff. You can see it's still, still room here for some other items. So, and it's absolutely solid. I just cannot move it, just the weight of the stuff inside. These sort of like lips, these thin lips at the bottom, dig in quite well. You can see that's where the crack was. It's just stronger, even stronger now, but you can hardly see it's there. Okay, so that's all the stuff in it. So one final test now, I always like doing this, is to see how waterproof it is. So I'm just going to film this bit now. You'll see me spraying it, simulating a very heavy downpour, and we'll see if any of that water gets inside it. Okay, so before we do the test, I'll just show you, it is bone dry inside. So if we see any drops of water, we know it's let them in. It's the easiest place to see the floor there, so right, let's give it a good spray now. So here's another thing I got this week from Lidl's. I'm not going to do a review on this because it's only a simple thing, but a very nice, you see, Parkside, a very nice solid metal, brass and whatever, spray trigger gun. So yeah, much nicer than the plastic ones. I think it was $4.99, I think. So let's give the storage box a spray. I'll try and be as realistic as POS to simulate a heavy downpour. I won't spray a direct jet at it or anything. Okay, I think you'll agree that's a pretty heavy downpour, so I'll just put the hose away. Okay, so I'm just going to dry the top with a towel, because the mistake I made with the big one, the cutter here, last time was I lifted it up and the water poured into it. So just wipe it off. Most of it obviously doesn't have to be totally dry. And we'll have a look inside. And we see the top of the lid. There's no water at all there. Totally clear there. So yeah, you can see there's not one drop of water got in, so yeah, nothing's going to get wet inside, even in the heaviest of downpours. So yeah, as you saw there, absolutely totally dry. So yeah, effective enough for keeping your stuff dry in all weathers.
Now, I don't know what, I mentioned it at the beginning. Never did find out in the instructions what this sheet of graph paper's for. There's a single page there. And look at this. There's a double page of it there. And like I say, it shows you at the top a little pen there to write your own things in it. I haven't a clue what it's for. Don't even mention it. But yeah, loads of wasted paper. But yeah, in conclusion, what do I think of it? Yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't pay any more than 30 quid for it, that's for sure. It's made in Italy, by the way, as made in Italy stamp on the bottom. Some of the plastic around the bottom is quite thin. Like I said, I keep repeating myself and all, but it's nothing like the quality of the Keta, but again, it's at a bargain price. So if you just want a basic box, and forget about rolling it around, the rollers aren't fit for purpose really. A basic box to store some of your stuff out of the rain and you're running out of room anywhere else, it's absolutely ideal. And as I showed you the comparison ones on Amazon at the beginning, it's a good price. I didn't see any of that particular size, 117 centimeters, or 1.17 meters long and 56 high, 45 wide. Didn't see any of that size for 30 quid, and you've got your 3-year warranty. So keep your receipt, write on it, stick it in a drawer like I do with all my Lidl's receipts, and right up to 3 years they will honour it. So yeah, hopefully it has been of some use if you're thinking of getting it. They are in Lidl's this very week. I'm recording this on Saturday the 27th of April. So like I say, hopefully it's been of some use. If it has, please give us a thumbs up. If it hasn't, give us a thumbs down. Loads more in the pipeline. Reviews. I've still got the one coming on the 2 monitors. I've still got some other filming to do on that. And hopefully tomorrow I'm going to Aldi because they've got some pressure washers in there, some Ferrex pressure washers for 50 quid. 49.99, 5-year warranty. The specs look okay. Okay, they're not going to be up to the top of the range Karcher ones, whatever, but 50 quid. And that includes a patio washer, you know, the rotating patio cleaner. Well, they're normally about 20 quid on their own. So it seems a bargain. I'm more than happy with the Parkside pressure washer I've got that you saw in this video. But I couldn't resist this at 50 quid tomorrow. Once I've done the review, I'm going to give it to my daughter. And she can then wash a car at her own house instead of having to keep coming round to mine. But yeah, 50 quid. And hopefully they will be in. I don't know. I might get there tomorrow and they're fully sold out. But if they have got one, I will be doing a review on that. So if you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to, please click the little picture here of the shed. Once you've done that, click the bell icon below and you'll be informed of any uploads as soon as I do them. So hopefully catch you for the next one very, very soon. Bye for now.